Guys, welcome to Two Dudes Talking. I'm DJ Schroep. That's Dustin Ovitz.
You know what side I'm on yet? Nope.
Yeah, you're on this side. So, breaking news. Let's start off with the breaking news first. The NBA Milwaukee Bucks lead the charge in skipping their game tonight. Then the NBA follows suit and supports them. So all NBA games, all NBA playoffs are off tonight in protest to the attempted murder in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I'm happy that the Bucks are the ones that are taking lead on this. This is their home state, and as well they should. But yeah, I don't know if you got to see Doc Rivers talk about racial inequality and speaking to the situation in Kenosha, and he basically said it's like, how do you live every day knowing that people don't like you, that we don't have the same country, we're living in two different places. And he got me choked up. I mean, it was really, really sad. But do you have anything to add to that?
No, look, I thought what Doc said was absolutely brilliant. I happen to agree with him. I think his point about the conversations that people that are not white, obviously some white people I'm assuming have these conversations, so not exclusive, but majority have with their kids about, be careful around cops, be careful when you put your hands in your pockets, be polite, stuff like that. That's a conversation I can say my parents never had to have with me, ever. Either because they weren't worried about my getting in trouble, or because they weren't worried about cops accosting me, as other people have to worry about. Now, for many people, it's not even that they got in trouble. Case in point, the guy that was shot.
Yeah.
What did he do? Didn't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've had the conversation. My mom had the conversation with me first, and then my dad, he being Caucasian, but came from a very, very poor area in South Philly. So he had a lot of run-in with police officers, but they always taught me, like, look, you get in trouble with the police, or in my case was the MPs, because we lived on, a military bases. It was yes, sir, no, sir. Keep your hands in sight. Don't question. Don't move suddenly. Like things like that. And early on, I didn't really understand why they were having that conversation. And I'm like, of course I'm going to respect the police officers. Of course I'm going to do what they say. But it wasn't until later my mom told me, like, the reason why we told you that was because you are now a man of color, and you get treated differently than your friends will. My friends, some of them happen to be Caucasian. So, it's one of those things you don't realize when you're a kid. And then you realize later, oh, that's why this conversation was had. But, and I carry that throughout my life. And it's an interest. I say interesting, but it's a hard conversation I'm sure my parents had to have with me and my brother. But, and then when you see, and then there are times when even when people are respectful to the police officers still, some of them, not all of them, not painted with a wide brush, the cowards, murderers, that's who they are as people. Just because they're police officers don't make them a good person. And let's be straight. We shouldn't be, just like we shouldn't be negatively painting with a wide brush on all of them. We also shouldn't be saying they're all heroes and they're all great people, because I know plenty of them that were scumbags in high school and now they're police officers. And I'm like, careful that dude. That dude's bound to have something happen,
Look, just because he did that, first, I agree with what you said. Obviously, different experiences for different people. But to the police thing, they're not even cops. It's just in general. Just because you wear a badge does not automatically make you a hero. The actions and how you treat people, your community, and your fellow officers or military members or firefighters, Coast Guard, whatever it is, can make you a hero. If you're great
Yeah.
to the community, you have great community relations, you don't have to sacrifice your life to be a hero. Those guys that do, and they lay it down on the line, I would say, barring some catastrophe in their personal life or, something else coming out where it's like, whoa, wait a second,
Yeah.
not so much. I'd say they're heroes. But again, I think we need to look at these guys, like you said, the whole picture. There's guys in high school that you went to high school with. There's guys, I'm sure, from college and elementary school where it's like you can look back and go, it's right there. Like you could have told
Yeah.
me when they were 10 years old. I could have told you, like, this is a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. I mean, look, I commend them. I think that you're going to see more as this happens. I think you're going to see more athletes step up. We're in a different time. There was an interesting conversation quickly on ESPN where they talked about, look, this is not your 90s, your 80s, your 90s, even 70s NBA. These athletes are multifaceted. They have various interests, and cultural and societal issues are many of them. So I'm glad to see it. I'm hoping that this will push things forward, and the momentum will move positively.
Yeah, look, there's no more damning thing to say to the NBA right now, or baseball, football, what have you, than the shut up and dribble, or shut up and whatever, the football version or baseball version or whatever. It's like, no, I'm sorry. Sports athletes for many, rinse and repeat years have been protesting peacefully or not, using their platform. Muhammad Ali. I mean,
but you know what?
Draft.
Like you talked about baseball for a hot second. I'd like to see more baseball players step up.
I completely.
I mean, I'd like to see more, Caucasians in baseball step up, and more athletes that are Caucasian step up, and really, really, really take a leadership role in helping heal the nation. But hopefully that will come.
Yeah, I thought it was telling. I don't know if it was opening day this year or some game this year where you saw certain players were kneeling, others were not. That's their choice. That's fine. But then I found it interesting that some of the players that weren't kneeling were showing support for their brothers, meaning their brothers on the team, not really related, by putting their hands on their shoulders or their backs. And it's like, I understand you're showing support for him, but like, if you really want to support that dude, kneel.
No, see, I disagree there. I don't think you have to kneel to protest. I think that the freedom that we have as American citizens gives us the right to show support in any way we need. I don't think that kneeling necessarily is good or bad. I mean, I've come around on the kneeling issue, and I believe that it's, if I was given the opportunity, would I kneel? I would say yes. But I want to take a step back and say, look, you can protest in other ways. It doesn't have to be this way. And you choose that, just like, your teammate chose to kneel, you can choose to stand and support him or her. Right. I think it's a touchy issue. But I think at the end of the day, as long as you are good in your heart and you are showing that you are trying to make society better, with the platform that you have, then that's a win, but let's move on to happier.
Just real quick to finish that up.
Yeah.
The Brewers, Milwaukee again.
Yes.
Postponed their, I don't know if it's whole series or just today's games, and today is Wednesday the 26th. So good for them again. Baseball, or the team, I don't know who it was doing something, but if baseball really wanted to step up, they should postpone all of them. I think they won't do that, though, given that with the COVID issues they have had, they've got teams playing like 41 games in 43 days.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about baseball later because I want to talk about the no-hitter, but whatever.
We got UFC Fight Night coming up on Saturday.
Yeah.
I think we got a couple pretty solid fights on the card. One is always a fan favorite, the always violent, ruthless Robbie Lawler, taking on Neil the Gazelle Magny. And I don't know if that's his nickname or that's just something that they call him in the gym. I want to say it's something they just call him in the gym. So, but they call him the Gazelle because he's just quick, he's fast, and he just keeps going and going and going.
Gonna tank for days.
Yeah, and like I said, he's smooth. I don't know if that's enough against a guy like Robbie Lawler, who, like at 38 years old, he's also had a year off. So, since losing to Colby Covington, he should be coming in pretty fresh, but I don't know what kind of 38-year-old Robbie Lawler looks like these days.
Yeah. But look, as you know, he's fought everybody.
Everybody, and he's done it all. I mean, he's been at the top. Sure. Yeah, Hall of Famer for sure. He's a fighter through and through, throughout physique, mental, everything. He's a fighter. I think we're seeing the last few fights of Robbie Lawler.
Oh, we have to. He's had a bunch of
contract aside. I don't know what is left on his contract, but let's just say, we're seeing the last few. I mean, at 38 years old, I don't know if we want to see a 40-year-old Robbie Lawler. Yeah,
great career.
I think if he loses, it's now. Why is he doing it? Probably just for the love of fighting. I don't know. Neil Magny's not going to get win, lose, or draw. He's not. I mean, he's not moving up. I mean, he's just a middle of the roader guy.
Well, he could. If it's
I think it. Yeah, I mean, and he doesn't have the power for that.
Let him dream.
Yeah, he doesn't have the power to knock out Robbie Lawler. He's a 3-round go to decisions kind of guy.
By the way, his nickname, according to Espen, is the Haitian Sensation.
Okay, so yeah, the Gazelle is. I haven't either. So that answers that, where the Gazelle's coming from his gym mates.
In 2.
I'm taking Lawler in 1.
Really?
Yeah, he's had a year. And I think that for someone like Lawler, Neil Magny is going to get eaten like a gazelle. He's going against a lion.
All right.
So I think first round knockout, maybe about 210. Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. But the next fight, which is pretty solid too, is Anthony Smith versus Aleksandar Rakic. Rakic, I think is how you say it.
Correct us somebody.
But Anthony Smith coming off a fight from May where he took a 4-round pummeling from Glover Teixeira.
Yes, he did.
So not a lot of time off, but I think surprisingly now Anthony is the old guard of the division. Welcoming a a contender, a new blood to this division.
He's the old guard at 32. The dude he's fighting is 28.
Right. So look, I mean, Anthony Smith, if he wins, he gets back into title contention.
Mm-hmm.
Rakic, if he wins, he gets another big fight.
I think if Rakic wins in crushing fashion, he probably gets the loser of the title fight.
Yeah.
And that, I don't know who you get. Smith, no. Wait, Smith would have to get the title fight. Rakic gets the title? No, that doesn't make any sense.
No, I mean, look, I don't think Rakic is going to get past Anthony Smith anyway. I think that this one's going to be another maybe early 3rd round stoppage.
I'm going to say I'm just picking all 2s for this entire card.
Okay. You going 2nd round Smith?
Yeah. My 2nd round Smith, I want to say sub, but he doesn't usually go to the ground, so I'll TKO it.
Yeah, I think both of those are going to end pretty quickly for me.
Yeah.
On another note, before we get off the UFC, and it begs the question, are guys in this COVID-19 era coming back too soon? Anthony Smith fighting in, is it late May, I think? It doesn't matter, May. We're now in August. So June, July, August, right? So takes a 4-round pummeling from a very heavy-handed Glover Teixeira.
Yep.
And now he's back. I think it's too soon. I like to see guys take at least 6 months off before coming back. If it's a quick finish, look, if guy knocks his opponent on 30 seconds of the first round, takes 0 damage, bring him back the week after. That's fine. But when you're talking about, a pummeling, I think you need 6 months to take some time off. I think that the UFC doesn't have as many guys available to them on their roster right now because of COVID, because of the location limitabilities.
Look,
I don't know. I
think you're
think
correct. I think also that, you're dealing with, and we've talked about this numerous times away from any connected device. You've got different athletic commissions. The last fight, good Lord, was in Florida, which, anything goes down there, Florida man. And then this is at the Apex, right?
Yeah.
So you got the Florida Athletic Commission that might have given him a suspension of, I don't know, I'm making this up, obviously 3 months, right? May, June, July, August. But then Nevada might have seen that and gone, yeah, you're good.
Because, obviously Nevada's in the UFC's pocket.
Yeah.
So they're not going to question the UFC and their decision-making.
Money.
Look, I just think at the end of the day, it's irresponsible. I was reading a couple articles by ESPN fuckboys extraordinaire, Mark Ramundi and Brett Okamoto, and they
start turning up again if you go at them.
Look, those guys basically argued the point. They argued the point that they're prize fighters. They don't get paid unless they fight. And
that's actually a good point.
They should be out there. They should be out there fighting. Yes, but if you observe an every 6 month type rule, then you figure out a way to get paid only having to fight 2 times a year. You figure out how to get sponsorships or do other things in between that time frame. That's it. They have to adjust. Similar to like how a lot of seasonal type employees have to adjust, they would have to adjust the same way. Again, we are past the point of these guys are just prize fighters out there fighting for a paycheck and fighting for a meal. We're in a different era of athleticism, and they should be treated in a different way as well. Again, that goes back to the arguments we've made many months ago with the union and negotiating with the UFC, which it seems like no one really cares. The fighters don't really care about. But again, fuckboys Ramundi and Okamoto, guys who have never even gotten into a schoolyard fight, no less, are arguing that these men and women should be fighting because that's how they earn a paycheck. They should just stick to writing and wait for breaking news to be given to them by UFC PR.
Oh, brutal. Well, look, I can't disagree with the point of the fighters have to fight because it's the only way they get paid, because at the moment, that is an accurate statement. That is the truth.
Yeah.
There's no way around it. I don't like myself, and I know I'm guilty of saying it, you, whomever, anybody saying, they should just fight as often as possible, because yes, I agree with that they should fight as often as possible, but they need to do it in a safe manner so that 20 years, 30 years from now, we're not dealing with a CT, pick a letter, epidemic E, and let's go with CTE, pandemic, epidemic, whatever, in the MMA world, which I personally think is coming. Yes, I understand it's a little safer than boxing typically because of, you're knocked out, it's over. There's no standing 8 count unless you have a ref that doesn't understand that you just tapped and you're still getting choked out, or you don't have a ref that see you get knocked to the hell out and your opponent is like, I just knocked him out. And the ref's like, yeah, well, put like 2 or 3 more shots on him. It'll be fine, which seems to be happening recently. But they need to plan both financially and, physically, I guess, and mentally too, because if they're getting their brains beat in. But what nobody's taking into account, and this is the same thing that happened, I guess, with boxing and in football, is, all the concussions, hits to the head that they're taking in training.
Yeah.
Forget the ring. Yeah, the ring is hugely important, but if you take that out of it, how many micro, whatever, macro, whatever the hell they are, concussions are they dealing with in training, day in and day out, where they're in the gym 5, 6, 7 days a week? Now they
Yeah.
don't spar every day, so that's good. You know, Monday, Tuesday might be roll days. Wednesday might be cardio. I mean, you know the schedule as well as I do. Thursday might be all pads. Friday's probably full contact. Saturday's probably like stretch, roll out, do some more rolling probably.
Look,
Then Sunday is probably
they're taking
cardio.
they're taking a lot of abuse on their body, regardless.
Well, there's no
I
more
think
off season.
that's why I'm saying, like, if they had a more regular schedule individually as fighters, then they could figure this out better. The UFC just doesn't care. And we are going to see a lot more brain. We're going to see a lot more guys. I mean, look, it's going to be sad when we see a lot of these older guys. Look, no one can deny, if you ever see Chuck Liddell or Mark Coleman, these guys can barely walk. There's no doubt they could still whoop ass. But when I first met Mark Coleman a few years back, he could barely walk. He could barely get from his car to the studio. And I think we were taking like every 3 steps was his one. You know, it was just sad. And I think we're going to continue to see that for a while. But
yeah, I mean, it's a sad reality that I fear a lot. Not just UFC guys, obviously NFL guys have been facing it, will continue to face it. But I think you're going to see MMA guys that are, you know, starting to get older are going to, again, I hope nobody does because I hate it. I think we all do. But you're going to see it start to be a problem for them. And I really wonder how the younger, and I mean the 20-year-olds, not the 32-year-olds. I think they're sadly, or 35-year-olds, whatever, too far gone at this point. But how, you know, the up-and-comers are going to react. And they're probably going to go, well, wait a second. You know, this is an NFL case all over again.
Yeah.
Like long-term medical benefits. And maybe that will be the final straw, if you will, that causes the younger fighters to be like, we're unionizing now because we need long-term benefits.
We'll see. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Golf. We were texting back and forth. Look quickly. I don't want to spend too much time on it. Dustin Johnson shot a.
I did. Just kidding.
He shot a 60, which was actually one higher than Scheffler, who shot a record-breaking 59, lowest on tour.
Wait, we're talking over 18?
Yeah, over 18. Dustin Johnson, I want to say, shot basically shot one of the 3 lowest scores in a full tournament since Jordan Spieth did it. And I want to say it was Ernie Els who did it before him. Those 2 guys did it at a course in Hawaii, which is very easy. Dustin Johnson did it at TPC Boston, which is more challenging.
Wait. You mean easy for them?
No. Easy. The easy courses are all relative, but yes, an easy course. If you played a course in Hawaii, it's very different than courses that are lined with trees, have forests, have different undulations. You can look on the USGA app and find course difficulty. This course difficulty was higher than those. And I just think it's sad that it was not given more love through the various media sports networks. And that's all I have to say about it, but it was a historic run. It was basically like watching Michael Jordan play basketball. I mean, it was Tiger level-esque. It was dominant. He was knocking things down 10 feet away from the pin. He was driving further, more accurately than I've ever seen a golfer do. And look, if you're going to build the prototypical golfer from scratch, it's Dustin Johnson. Long, lanky, muscle, and then perfect, calm attitude.
Well, look, I hope he can keep it going, and I hope he does it in a major. Because if he does it in a major, the media, sports media, will be all over it.
Look, I mean, he's world number 1. So
he should be after that performance.
I mean, he always tickles the top 5 of world rankings. He deserves a lot more credit. But yeah, I mean, win a major and you instantly get a lot more credit. But like I said, TPC Boston, any TPC, they're no joke. I've played a couple. They're no joke. So no, I mean, you can laugh, but I mean, it's true. These courses.
I wish he had done it at a
These courses are crazy, crazy ridiculous.
No, again, it's not that I disbelieve you. First of all, I haven't played any of them. Based on, I mean, those guys make most courses look easy. Not all of them.
Oh, absolutely. I played with a guy who was going to Q school about 2 months ago, and we were playing a Muni here in LA, and he was driving green constantly. Just boom, 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 boom. Every hole practically was on the green. And I'm just like, yeah, that's why you are going to be on the tour one day. Yeah, and it's awesome to watch. I mean, I've been to a million of these events and seen these guys play. It's phenomenal. But anyway, I didn't want to spend too much time on it. I just wanted to give props to Dustin Johnson, who, like I said, was phenomenal.
You do our name proud.
Yeah. Moving on.
My topic now?
Yeah, we'll go for it.
Where do you think Messi is going? Yeah.
Sorry. He wants to go to Man City, right?
Well, there's a reason. For those of you who have not heard, Messi, in my opinion, the greatest soccer player actively playing on the face of the earth. If you say Ronaldo, I will say Messi. It's fine. You can pick either one. I don't care.
Rooney,
stop it. What, his hair plugs? Or his graphing, whatever the hell that was. So Messi wants out of Barcelona after their embarrassment to Bayern in the Champions League, where they lost 8-2, and they're just awful year. So he said he wants out, and yes, you're correct. He said he wants to go to Man City, which is where? Do you know who the coach is? Anybody? No. Pep Guardiola, who used to coach Barcelona. Gee, I wonder why he wants to go.
Right.
Yeah, so I agree with you. I think he's going to go to Man City, assuming they can get a deal done. I find it odd that the new coach said, I want to build around Messi. And then 4 days later, he's like, yeah, I want out.
Yeah.
So, there you go. That's my Messi news. I will keep everybody updated because we can do quick blurbs on all footy transfers, soccer, whatever. Yeah. I actually watch. Oh, actually, completely unrelated. I'm going to ask. This Saturday is the start of the rugby championship. The All Blacks of New Zealand versus Argentina. Who do you got?
All Blacks. I'm always going All Blacks. I actually really like that team. I don't watch it as probably in depth as I probably should, but for whatever reason, I've just always liked the All Blacks.
Yeah, they've done a great marketing campaign of making most of the world like them.
They really have, because I feel like that's my team.
Yeah.
And it's not like, oh, I like this player versus that player. I just seem to like them, and it's probably because of all the marketing they've done.
There's this great Amazon show that I think is still up on Amazon. It's like, Season All In or whatever it's called with the All Blacks. It is amazing. Some of the coverage they got is fantastic.
Yeah. It's absolutely amazing.
It's basically an extended 30 for 30. It's glorious.
Yeah. You know what? On that topic, I mean, Hard Knocks is into week 3. I wanted to bring this up because it's Hard Knocks, and it's awesome. It's an awesome show. They are following both the Rams and the Chargers because they're here in LA, which is pretty cool for us being here in LA as well. I thought there was an interesting juxtaposition of the two teams and how the first episode, they really, really kind of handled and talked about COVID and how each team is tackling that. And look, there's no denying that Sean McVay early on, and even maybe now, still thinks that COVID and coronavirus is not as serious as many people take it.
Whatever.
I watched him on the local sports show, just kind of downplaying coronavirus and all of that. Lost a lot of respect for him when I saw that interview. And then you have Anthony Lynn from the Chargers, who actually contracted the virus and fought through it. Mm-hmm. And he actually gave credit to watching a golfing event where the golfer talked about his symptoms, and he goes, wait, I have those symptoms. Let me go get checked. And then finds out he has coronavirus.
Look, I hope that nobody. Well, there's some people I hope they get it, but nobody that I really, 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 really. Otherwise, I don't want anybody to get it.
But like I said, the interesting, and I don't know if you caught this, but the juxtaposition between the Rams and the Chargers, and how they're both handling COVID-19 procedures within their teams, and the two philosophies of the two coaches. Sean McVay being younger, maybe more aloof and taking the pandemic less seriously. Anthony Lynn, older, actually got it and is treating it a little bit more seriously. There was an interesting scene where they were talking about masks and walkthroughs, and Coach Lynn was like, yeah, we're going to wear masks through walkthroughs. Why wouldn't we? When we go full speed, they can take it off. Whereas McVay was like, then they show him with a scene where he hated wearing his mask. He'd rather wear the clear face shield. And he goes into, a team meeting and he's joking about windshield wipers on it and drawing plays on it. And I mean, look, I understand taking light of it, but like I said, I thought it was interesting in how Hard Knocks kind of showed the two different sides and how they're both handling it. Where the Rams were really clustering up in some places on the practice field. And then the next scene was Coach Lynn going,
Move over.
Guys,
move over, spread
move
out.
over, move over, separate.
Yeah.
And I was just like, yep, two sides of the same NFL coin.
Mm-hmm. Well, they did, and not they. I'm assuming the owner announced that they will not be playing in front of fans this season at the whatever the hell the stadium.
Dean Spanos at SoFi Stadium. Yeah,
there it is. That one. Hollywood Park 2.0.
I mean, look.
I think it's going to be interesting. I hope to God they can get the season done. I hope that nobody on the teams gets it, but at the same time, as you well know, unfortunately, with this virus and pretty much everything in life, its reality is when it happens to you or somebody very close to you.
Yeah.
So until one of them, being somebody on the team that's vitally important, or somebody in the front office or a coach gets it, those that haven't had it are going to be like, yeah, it's fine, we're great.
Look, I mean, furthermore, Chargers wearing masks while practicing, Rams not one mask in the whole crowd.
So dumb.
Yeah, I think I don't even want to know what the other teams are doing and how I can tell you what the Cowboys are doing. I can probably tell you what the Green Bay Packers are doing in some of those Midwest cities.
Colts.
But yeah, I don't even want to begin to imagine what's going to happen. We've talked about this before. The sport of football is all droplets.
The swimming pool.
So hopefully they will get through the season, and we will not have a Marlins St. Louis Cardinals type situation. But on another note, you have college football left and right getting canceled, and you have SEC. Well, you have SEC and ACC teams that say they're going to play. They're going to have their national championship.
And the Big 12.
Look, they're
stupid.
That's not a real championship to me. That's tarnished. That's tainted. It's an asterisk. It's a participation trophy. You lasted better than all the other participants, because if you don't have the other conferences in it, it's not real. And then you have
two of the Big Four.
Alabama had 500 students test positive.
Students test positive, but the football program continues forward.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Oh, how about this? ASU has announced that there have been positive tests on campus, but they are not going to release the numbers. And they've taken the stance that they don't need to share that information because they're hiding behind HIPAA law, even though we're not asking for names of people. We're just asking for stats. But it goes back to Governor Ducey, who is taking a deuce all over his citizens. And yeah, boycott Cold Stone. He's one of the founders.
I don't eat Cold Stone for other reasons.
Well, he's also a Sun Devil as well.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. I hate the man, and I've been trolling their Instagram, by the way.
Good, you should.
Encouraging boosters to not give money to the program, not give money to the school, and to divert those funds to COVID-19 awareness and education.
Yeah, you should. Look, I can think off the top of my head of one great, I'm sure there's more. ASU, I'm assuming he graduated, alum. You got a statue of him at your damn stadium.
Yeah, Pat Tillman.
Yeah, exactly. Ding, ding, ding. It ends right there. You're done. First of all, what would he have done? He probably wouldn't have shown up because he likes safety. Whatever.
So I'm gonna make. I think he would have shown up because he was a football player, tried and true. And
really?
Yeah, and he was a little bit of a meathead.
I didn't know that.
I say this all with peace and love, but he was not your thinking man's football player.
Oh, no crap.
Yeah, he was. He was super. No, he was super jock. I think he would have shown up. He was a bit dense. I did have a class with him, and a math 210 or something like that, like algebra. Where I was in the corner with all of them, and we basically cheated off of this younger Asian cat.
So that's why you passed that class.
Yeah, math not my strong suit. But yeah, I think he would have shown up because he was kind of like, bro, America, let's do this. I see what you're. I see the argument you're trying to make. I mean, look, I wish that more high profile people would step up and say, guys, let's not do this. Let's be smart about this. This school's making hundreds of thousands, or not millions of dollars from us. We're not getting any of it, and they're putting us in harm's way. And, what was the stat that I gave? Like 85-90% of college football players don't go pro.
Well, okay, I'm glad you brought that up for two reasons. One, just to backtrack for a second, I never thought
can't go pro, not don't go pro, can't go pro, because it's not a choice.
Yeah, they don't get drafted, or they just don't have the pro level skills. They just have a great career. I mean, there's thousands upon thousands of those stories where the guy or girl has an amazing college career, and you never hear from them ever again. Yeah. It happens all the time. There's thousands, millions probably. Two things. One, I'm going backwards here. The NCAA actually made a wise decision where they're granting I don't know if it's all athletes this entire year, or just fall and winter athlete sports, an additional year of eligibility, which I think is brilliant. Finally, a wise decision out of them. And number two, and I think this was the case, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, Notre Dame had all those positive tests, and I never thought I'd utter the words, that then Notre Dame shut it down completely. Yeah. Just said, no sports, no football, we're done. I was like, you're the most God-fearing institution I can think of.
But that's also a thinking man. That's a thinking man's university. That's
the other thing. The big universities that people think of for academic excellence, the Columbias, the Harvard, Notre Dame, I guess you could put up there, the Brown, the Yale, the Stanford, they've all shut it down completely.
Yeah.
We're good. But then you get the top flight schools that make boatloads and boatloads of money off of football. And they're like, no, we're going forward. But look, I think that it will stop the second a player, and I hope it doesn't happen because these kids are young, gets a positive corona test. Because if that happens, they're going to sue the school.
Yeah. It's the argument I make. Follow the money.
Yeah.
Coaches are making money off of this. Schools are making money off of this. They don't care about these students.
Not at all.
Look, there are fringe players that without a season, they may or may not get drafted because they don't have enough tape.
That's right.
They don't have enough, snaps. And it could hurt them, right? I mean, they're missing out on a season. They're getting a year older, which arguably might actually benefit you, because if the average NFL player lasts 3 to 4 years, then being a year older might actually help you. And you might actually get a year's more worth of experience in the college ranks, maturing not only in mind but in body. So I would argue that it would help some of these players, maybe not so much those top 1%ers that are like, I just came to college so that I could get drafted in the first round.
Trevor Lawrence.
And go make millions. And now I have to wait another year to make my millions. But and that's why you have those guys speaking out, right? Like that's why you have like Trevor Lawrence going, I want to play. Of course you want to play because you want to get your one more year in and then make the case that you are the number one draft pick.
He's the number one pick. If somebody needs a quarterback, who are you picking?
Right.
I mean, we knew he was the number one pick when he was a freshman. We were just like, we got to wait for him to age out.
Yeah.
But I agree with you, but on the fringe players. But look, we'll take it away from football. Oh, actually, no, we'll stick with football. There are so many players in the NFL that went to institutions that you, and probably me, an average Joe fan or Jane fan, I've never even heard of. I'm not talking like North Dakota State. I think most people have heard of that because of their FCS brilliance. But, like McNessy State, Northeastern, whatever. Bowden. I don't even think they have a football team. I just threw that out there. And then the people that make the argument, well, they're a year older. And I'm like, okay, well, wait a second. There's certain people that worked out really well for, basketball related. David Robinson, Tim Duncan, the big fundamental. 4-year guys. David Robinson is a military academy. That's why they call him the Admiral. Really? But to bring it back to football, and I just thought this was a great story and really positive. I forgot the guy's name now because, work happened. But there was a dude that went to I'll say Naval Academy. I probably got that wrong. Sorry. I apologize. Please somebody correct me and link. The actual guy. He was spent 5 years out of football due to, he needed to serve his country as part of the deal of him going to the academy. He just got signed by the New England Patriots. It's like, that might have been the best positive story I had read today. Like, that was amazing. The dude serves his country, 5 years away from football, gets a deal with the Patriots. I don't know if that means he's actually going to make the team. I don't know what the deal says, but dude, I hope he does. I hope he's a freaking.
No, you get a try. You're getting a tryout. You're getting to, to be a part of the early roster before they start making cuts, and maybe you surprise some people and you make the roster or you make the practice team.
I hope
either way you're getting a
whatever
chance.
Position he plays. I hope he's first team everything.
Look, I mean, I make this. I've been making this argument over the last few weeks. People are acting like this thing is going to be going forever, and that we are not just sitting on the sidelines for a year. If we just sacrifice this year, maybe we'll be better in the future. I'm not. I can't predict the future, but I can say that we're acting like this is it's do or die. It's now or never. And that's not the case. We all just need to be more patient and things will work out eventually. But we have to be patient. But unfortunately, money gets in the way. And that dictates a lot of it. But anyway, that's all I got today. Do you have anything else?
No, I just wanted it another positive story because I thought it was great.
Yeah, we'll see. Look, you're not watching NBA.
Nope.
I'm not going to necessarily.
I watched the Lakers game the other day because I could.
Well, no, I'm saying tonight. I'm not necessarily recommending watching the RNC, but whether or not your politics lean left or right, I think it's always a good idea to watch the opposing political view and see what they have to say, because you gotta know your opposition as well as you know yourself. And the reality show that is the RNC. But
you mean the dumpster fire?
Yeah, VP Pence is talking tonight.
I have questions about the Melania speech, but we'll talk about it later.
She did not plagiarize on Dr. Jill Biden. There's a positive there.
Not my question.
She did ruin the Rose Garden and took out Jackie O's trees.
Tree. Yeah. That was one question. That was not my
which I thought was super sad that she did that, but they don't care about anybody's legacy but themselves.
First of all, by the way, that Navy DE is Paul. I'm going to butcher this last name, so forgive me. Quessenberry.
Oh yeah, I know who he is. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was Navy. Obviously, then served in the Marines for 5 years, and now is back and just got signed by the Patriots. So, dude, I hope that dude ends up in the Hall of Fame. I really do.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
So,
look,
anyway,
the only thing I have to say about Melania Trump's speech, and you know where I lean on that, is Einstein visa. Like, somebody, like, who? I thought that was reserved for people that are brilliant and not just semi-okay nude-ish models.
Look, I mean, that whole thing's a dumpster fire. You got Kimberly Guilfoyle and Donald Trump Jr., who apparently were definitely coked up before those speeches. You could see it on their faces and in their attitudes and the way they delivered that speech. Tiffany Trump, who apparently has a degree in law.
Really?
Yeah, she went to Wharton too. But look, I've also made the argument. I don't care where you went to school. You could have bought and paid for that degree. Doesn't matter to me. Wharton has shown over and over again that they sell degrees. So
they're not the only school.
No, they're not. But like I said, I used to work with an executive at Prudential back in the day when I first got out of college. He used to say, give me a hungry Michigan man or state school guy. He will work 10 times harder than any of those trust fund babies that come out of Wharton or Harvard. And I still believe that today. I don't care what school you went to. Just show me how hard you work and how passionate you are, and you'll get further in life. But they are the antithesis of that. And Tiffany Trump, who doesn't look like she can debate her way out of a paper bag, apparently has a law degree, just like you.
Yay.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got. I'm DJ Schroep. That's Dustin Ovitz.
See ya.
We'll see you on the flip side. Peace.
So seriously, explain the Einstein visa. And then here was the other kicker. I just read it, by the way. I didn't even see the video, except for the clips of her walking out. I was like, where'd the trees go? So the Einstein visa thing is one issue for me, because how?
Yeah.
And then on top of that, the Republicrats, as you know, bitch and moan about immigration and chain immigration. They fucking hate it.
Oh, yeah, and her parents came in through that.
But her parents came in through her chaining them in. I was like,
but we know how that rolls. It's do it. Look, it's all of it, because even Mike Pompeo. Yeah, Mike Pompeo giving his speech from atop of the I think of the King David Hotel that overlooks all of those historically religious sites.
He broke the law by doing that.
Yes. He actually also defied his own memo.
By the way, stop recording.
Yeah.